Here's a brief history of the Achievement Center. My name is Wayne Vanwyck, and I'm the founder of the Achievement Center. The Achievement Center was born when I left my job as a sales manager in the insurance industry and purchased a dealership with Canadian Training and Development Group in Mississauga. That was in 1984, just before my 30th birthday. I had 2 children under the age of 3 and a mortgage and a very supportive wife who worked part-time. It was both scary and exciting. The idea of running my own training company was a dream come true. I started by selling to my friends and colleagues from the insurance industry and expanded out through referrals. Basically, I went to people who already knew, liked, and trusted me. Shortly after joining, I rented a 1,000 square foot office space in the lower level of an office building. One of my neighbors was another startup company that went on to do very, very well. That was Research in Motion, the inventors of the BlackBerry. I hired an assistant and grew the business. In the beginning, I paid her more than I paid myself, and it was difficult to find salespeople who could sell as well as me, so I wore a lot of hats: salesperson, sales manager, facilitator, business owner, and manager. But we continued to grow and have a positive influence on our community. I joined Junior Achievement's board of directors, the KW Sales and Ad Club, the Chamber of Commerce, and Kiwanis. With all that and raising 2 kids, there certainly wasn't much time for sleeping. After a few years, it became obvious that some of the training materials that we were buying were getting outdated, especially the sales course, which was my main product. I had voiced my concerns to the author of the program and to Ted, the owner of Canadian Training, but wasn't given any assurances that things were going to change. So at that time, a friend suggested I develop my own course. I presented this idea to Ted, and he said if I wanted to develop it, and he liked it, he would sell it through his network. So, the Achievement Center's course in selling skills, or AXIS for short, was created and soon became the main sales training program sold across Canada through over 100 people just like me. Caroline Rowan and Fred Clark did a similar process with result-centered leadership, and Dr. Kit Silcox wrote a strategic planning program called Milestones. Together, our programs became the backbone of the Canadian Training Network. When the owner of Canadian Training died, the business faltered badly. Kit, Caroline, Fred, and I picked up pieces and continued to support and provide products to the network. Together, we worked hard to run our own businesses while providing assistance and guidance to the network. It soon became obvious that someone had to lead the organization, and I was nominated. We began to run the larger organization through my company, the Achievement Center, and the other authors were happy to support my efforts while continuing to run their own businesses. We began to recruit additional associates, and it was run out of a 7,000 square foot office in Kitchener that we shared with a call center that I had started in 1996. Soon we had associates across Canada, in the U.S., and in the Middle East. In 1999, I learned I had a degenerative muscle disease. Walking was getting harder, and my energy level was affected. At the time, I owned 4 companies with over 100 employees and about 20 active associates. I hired a senior manager and tried to take more time off to do things I might not be able to do later in life. We bought a cottage, traveled, camped, and in 2009, my wife and I took a 6-month sabbatical and drove across the U.S. and Canada from coast to coast. While on that trip, I got a call explaining that a guy was really keen on learning about the Achievement Center and might make a good candidate for becoming our first franchisee. His name was Mark Lecourcier. And could I speak with him? Well, of course I could, and I did, and we had a lengthy discussion which started our close relationship in the following years. Mark came out of the gate strong. He was following the systems we had developed and was successfully winning business and growing his presence in London. He approached me about buying another franchise in order to expand his reach. That's when we first began to discuss the opportunity for him to buy into the ownership of the Achievement Center. In 2010, he purchased 50% of the business and took over the day-to-day operations and moved the head office to London. He bought the rest of the business in 2015. This career has benefited me in so many ways. I learn something new every day. I meet interesting and inspiring people. I've become a better person, a better businessman, and a better parent. I've made a good living and a good life. I've had the pleasure and honor to help thousands of individuals in their careers. I can only hope that you get as much out of it as I have. Thank you for being part of the continuing success of the Achievement Center.